This week on Fields of Glory, we'll head to the great state of Oklahoma, to the home of the Sooners of Oklahoma University, where the tradition of winning never gets old, and champions are found both on and off the football field. Get ready to experience Sooner magic, coming up next on Fields of Glory. 18 miles south of Oklahoma City is the city of Norman, home of Oklahoma University.
Abner Norman got off the train and said, I think I'll put up some stakes in 1889, and there was Norman. They named it after Abner Norman right over here just off Main Street. So the school came along a year later, and football came along 5 years after that.
Norman, really extending throughout the state of Oklahoma, is built on the quality of its people. They're absolutely fantastic, and you don't go too far in any given day without running into somebody that reminds you how lucky you are by living in a place like Oklahoma, and obviously right here in Norman.
Today there are around 31,000 students at Oklahoma University, and it is Norman's largest employer. OU's programs and initiatives are quickly establishing it as a pace setter for public higher education in America.
I think Oklahoma's reputation as a university has really been enhanced. College of Law, College of Engineering, both exceptional programs. OU is making a name for itself academically, and much of that's a recent phenomenon.
The University of Oklahoma is about a really commitment to excellence. President Boren, we have an incredible president that really expects that and demands that from everybody throughout the university, a commitment to excellence and doing the very best you can and continuing to grow as a program and improve as a university.
I guess the best way I would say is in the last 10, 15 years, University of Oklahoma has gone from a major university to really an exciting, hot-button place.
The most historic building at OU sits on the south end of campus. Oklahoma Memorial Stadium at Owen Field opened in 1923. It's named after Benny Owen, OU's first successful coach.
Owen Field used to be a simple little stadium. 61,000 seats when I was a kid. 3/4 of a bowl, the white brick facade on the sides, and it was a very simple structure. It wasn't an awesome building. Now you walk in, it's awesome.
I have pictures from many, many different years and how it's changed, where it started from. A guy sent me one, I can't tell you what year. There were just some stands on the sides, so it was way back. So it's had a great, evolution.
The great Benny Owen, who had come to Oklahoma to coach football in 1905, was also the athletic director. And by the early 1920s, Benny had a great vision, and that was to build a stadium for Oklahoma. The first football game was played in 1925. There were no permanent seats, really, until 1928. The stadium was improved again in the mid-30s, and it was done so by lowering the field 8 feet. They excavated the stadium floor and put seating at the bottom of the stadium rather at the top. So the stadium that we know today is 8 feet below ground level. The north end was bowled in the 50s, and for many years the stadium's seating capacity was 61,000. The south end remained open. It was a horseshoe. There were bleachers in the south end zone along with the scoreboard. Most recently, in the last 24 months, the east side of the stands have been decked, and many beautiful suites have been added, and raising the capacity now to over 80,000.
One of the greatest places to play. Fans are great. The atmosphere is wonderful on game day. It seems like, all the great games happen here. A lot of great history here. A lot of great players played on this field, and I'm glad to be a part of it.
This is the same piece of grass that the 1925 Sooners played on. This is when OU went to the Orange Bowl, 1939. This is where they played and practiced. And, when Bud Wilkinson got here in '46, this is the field he used. It's a sense of place And I think that's a wonderful thing about college athletics, and Owen Field embodies that sense of place as good as any place in college football.
The Sooners were playing football before Oklahoma even became a state. Great history with a great tradition.
The biggest tradition is the tremendous amount of success that has occurred in the last 57 years since Bud Wilkinson started his great run here in 1947 on through the Fairbanks and the Switzer years and now into the Stoops years.
Well, the football team, the tradition is upheld by working hard, you know. A lot of guys up here, they've worked hard to the point where, you know, there's nothing left. And, you know, that's what it's all about.
Oklahoma holds the NCAA record for most consecutive wins by a major college program at 47 straight. The streak spanned 5 seasons from 1953 to 1957.
Well, November 16th, 1957 was probably the most historic day in Oklahoma football. That's the day Notre Dame beat OU 7-0, ended the 47-game winning streak, and reminded people that Oklahoma could lose.
And the fans cried. My mother cried. I was listening to it on the radio and I cried. And this was the common reaction to a very unsuspected loss. The Sooners were deemed invincible in those days. And my father tells me that after the final gun, people stood in silence expecting the Sooners to somehow miraculously come back onto the field and win the game.
Some say there is something in the air in Norman, Oklahoma. Sooner magic.
Sooner magic relates, I believe, most importantly to the understanding of the importance of people we are all associated with. There's a common saying around here that great teams happen because people know what it takes to be a great teammate. That is what Sooner Magic is all about.
Coming up on Fields of Glory, the pride of Oklahoma is much more than just a feeling at OU.
What we are is a bunch of guys that are crazy fans for OU. We're in charge of doing the Sooner Schooner, shooting off the shotguns and just going crazy.
And we'll take a look back at some of the great players from Sooner past. Just outside of Memorial Stadium behind the south stands, you'll find the Barry Switzer Center, named for one of OU's legendary coaches. Here, the rich history of Sooner football is told through photographs and artifacts, stories of some of the greatest teams ever to play the game, along with the seemingly endless list of coaches and players who brought glory to both the university and the state.
I came here knowing and recognizing it as one of the great traditions in college football. I knew what Bud Wilkinson had accomplished in his coaching career here. I became head coach in 1973, and because of what he had accomplished and the great tradition that he built at the University of Oklahoma, I inherited that, and it was our responsibility to hopefully continue it. And we were able to add to it, and we built, along with what he laid the foundation for, one of the greatest traditions in college football.
One of college football's greatest programs has been built on some of college football's finest players. Names like J.C. Watts, Roy Williams, and Brian Bosworth brought plenty of excitement to Memorial Stadium. 4 Sooners have been awarded the Heisman Trophy. Quarterback Jason White in 2003. He set school records for touchdown passes in a season with 40. In 1978, running back Billy Sims set a Big 8 single-season rushing record with 1,896 yards. Oklahoma's first Heisman winner was another running back, Billy Vessels, back in 1952. The Sooners' spacious state-of-the-art locker room is filled with reminders of the OU tradition of success. It's this motivation that every player brings to Owen Field each and every game.
Traditionally, what we have had is hard-working guys that are tough, that are physical, normally athletic in the way we run, and speed has always been something that we've stressed here through the years, and not just with our teams, but you go back through the years, but more than anything, I think toughness and playing physical and having an attitude.
College sports fans are hard-pressed to find a nickname that is as unique as a Sooner. What's a Sooner anyway?
Well, a Sooner is the people that came in for the land run. No.
The Sooners comes from the land run of our state. They opened our state with a shotgun blast. And the people that left with the shotgun blast were called boomers, from the boom of the shotgun. And those that got in a little bit early, a little bit of a head start, those were the Sooners.
To be a Sooner to me means to be the best you can be, to be the best athlete, to be the best student, to be the best person you can be. And that's what I'm still striving to be, is to become a complete Sooner.
There's a lot of sayings about it, though. Like, it's been some jokes saying the sooner you get here, the sooner you get beat, so.
During Oklahoma football games in the early years, Mex the dog was the team mascot. Today, OU has one of the most recognized mascots in college athletics. The Sooner Schooner, a Conestoga or covered wagon, honoring the mode of travel used by the pioneers who settled Oklahoma. Powering the schooner are two white ponies named Boomer and Sooner. Every time the Sooners score, they take a victory ride around Owen Field.
When you score, you see the schooner wagon come out. They direct that around the stadium or around the field and go back in. And it's always good to see 7 points and see them come out of the tunnel.
Another part of the Sooner Nation is the Roughnecks, a spirit organization that started back in 1915.
Basically, what we are is a bunch of guys that are crazy fans for OU. We're in charge of doing the Sooner Schooner, shooting off the shotguns and just going crazy. We run the OU flag on the field over here and just have a lot of fun in the games, like to pump up the crowd and just get excited. I tell you what, it's one of the greatest feelings you can have. Not just the fact that we have an organization that gets to be on the field, but the fact that we do have an organization that's been around for 90 years. The tradition in that is just incredible, that we get to carry that on each year after another and represent, the great pride of Oklahoma, the Sooner football. Sooner Magic's just been in the air, and we get to be a part of it, and you just can't describe how cool that is.
The pride of Oklahoma Marching Band has been driving Sooner spirit for nearly a century.
This is our 101st year on the University of Oklahoma campus. We celebrated our centennial last year. It started in 1904 with 15 student members and a part-time student band director. And as of now, I am the 5th full-time band director in 101 years. And we have 320 students majoring in 73 different academic fields. I was a freshman in this band 22 years ago. And I can remember every step I took on the field, my first time coming out in pregame, realizing that there were 70+ thousand fans, which, being from a town of about 10,000, was pretty amazing. Our drum major is the single most important student leader that we have. He leads the band on the field during our pregame show. He is the #1 spirit leader during the game, and that's what people have come to recognize as part of the pride of Oklahoma.
Our cheerleaders are impressive athletes. They are in great condition, physical condition, both the men and the women. They are required to perform gymnastic skills, tumbling skills, both standing and running. And some of them are very elite tumblers. We're gymnasts even as younger people. I was a part of this program as a spirit member back in the late 80s. And I've been involved with this program in some way ever since. So I've spent about half of my life doing this. Right before the game starts, our team has just run in, and you will hear just a thundering Boomer, Sooner from each side of the stands. And that's really one of the highlights for me, one of the great moments, just gearing up for the game. It's tough to be in the stadium when our crowd is just really into it.
When I hear that, you're going to see me waving my hands up and down, because I want to hear it some more. And the other team, when they hear it, they're like, what's going on?
We really believe that regardless of whether they have a championship or they have a trophy or a first place plaque, that isn't solely what's going to define the champion we believe we're trying to develop or the championship spirit we try to create. It comes from within.
Coming up on Fields of Glory, it's game day. Time for a huge Big 12 matchup in Norman, and there's only one place to be.
I have seen the last 316 consecutive OU games. That's how many that's been played since I've been here. Probably is a record.
It's game day at OU, and the town of Norman is a sea of crimson and cream, and the atmosphere is electrifying hours before kickoff.
I think my first game was coming when I was on a high school football team when I was 14, so I'm just getting ready to turn 65, so do the math, and that's how long I've been coming.
The favorite part is when the margin of victory is on OU's side.
Big fans. Big fans, OU right here, buddy. OU #1.
Oklahoma football is present in the fans' minds virtually 365 days a year. One would think they take a break somewhere, sometime, but they don't.
OU football fans, they're incredible. They go nuts, they're crazy, they cheer every time they can, no matter what.
It's always exciting coming out to play, coming down the ramp, knowing that you're, getting ready to compete for about 4 hours in front of 85,000 people and TV everywhere, and more than anything, just to compete. And so it's exciting to come running on the field. I always take a moment to check the crowd out and look at the press box, take in the moment for about all of 30 seconds or so, and then you put the headphones on and you get ready to go to work.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's football time in Oklahoma.
Coach Stoops is the best. He's, I think, born to be a football coach. He's one of those guys that makes a perfect football coach in that he played through the schools of hard knocks, and I think he was born and bred to be a coach.
My feeling is that great coaches are the right person for the job at the right time. I think Bud Wilkinson came along at the right time. I think Barry Switzer came along to Oklahoma at the right time. And I think that Bob Stoops is the next great Oklahoma football coach. Of course, the Sooners don't always win, but we always believe we will win.
He's a wonderful players coach. And I think that's why he's so successful, because he played the game. And he understands the outgoings, the incomings, the ups and downs, and the flow of the game.
Coach Stoops and the staff he's put together is amazing. Support you in every single aspect of your life, whether it's academics, whether it's being on the field. Great person, great people. He's just put everything together perfectly for everybody to become what they want to be here.
It's really special to me. And then to have the opportunity to be here is really like almost like a dream come true.
Every Saturday out on Owens Field, the fans just go crazy. They really bring home what it means to be a Sooner. Some of the most loyal fans I've ever been around.
They're about winning. They want to see a good product on the field. They're always excited to be here to cheer us on, and that's what you want. You want fans that expect success and are always pushing for it.
Handoff goes to Peterson, left side, gets by one tackler, cuts at the 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown Oklahoma.
If you were to watch some of the great OU moments, you might hear the band and the crowd and the students, the cheerleaders, all with their hands in the shape of the O, yelling, OU.
It's fun being here. It definitely gets loud. It's definitely a place that I would be intimidated to play in.
I find the stadium to be kind of the cathedral, if you will, of Norman. It's amazing, too, because I come and run stadium steps on the weekend, and people come from all over Oklahoma, and one place they want to make sure they see is Owen Field and that grass. And it's almost like they come in genuflect, because it is like a cathedral here in Norman.
Kewan Jones at tailback. The turn gets to Kewan right side. He goes in behind those blockers and scores. Touchdown, Oklahoma. Great block by James Moses.
Typically, the team over the years has played with a lot of confidence, even to the point of swashbuckling swagger from time to time. I think obviously winning and success creates that, and it's a pretty good thing to have on your side.
Back to the I formation. Man in motion from left to right. That's Finley. Bomar looking for Finley. Throws for him. Touchdown, Oklahoma. First one of the year. Joe John Finley got behind the cornerback, and with his height, 6'6", it was a great play and perfectly executed.
To me, it's the biggest thing going on in the state. I mean, OU football is it.
Football means something more to the people of Oklahoma than just an experience, some form of entertainment, or even a way to live vicariously through great players, great coaches, great teams. It is part of the fabric, part of the personality of people.
Oklahoma has their second victory, and many things accomplished this evening, including touchdown pass, but the biggest thing was the win, 43-21.
39 conference championships, 7 national championships is pretty special, and and that's what we pride ourselves on.
Sooners have always been one of the great programs in college football. You don't build it over a few wins, a few seasons, actually a few decades. You do it over decade after decade after decade. And since I know that when I coached here, we were the winningest team for the 16 years I was head coach, and I know that what Stoops has accomplished adds to that, and we continue to be one of those.
I take a great sense and pride in trying to build on the tradition in the history of the program, and fortunately we have to some degree, and hopefully we'll continue to build on those championship traditions in history.
For Fields of Glory, I'm Brent Musburger.